Bob Marley is a name synonymous with peace, love, and a certain green plant. Unfortunately, in his lifelong pursuit of these virtues, the legendary musician dealt with more than his share of suffering. Bob Marley was born Nesta Robert Marley in 1945 in 9 Mile, a small town situated high in the mountains in Jamaica's St. Ann Parish. His mother, Jamaican native Cedella Booker, was just 18 when she married Marley's father, Norval St. Clair Marley. The elder Marley was not Jamaican, originally hailing from England, and was more than 40 years older than his wife. Unsurprisingly, they weren't a perfect match and separated soon after their son was born. Norval was apparently not cut out for fatherhood and was absent for much of Bob Marley's childhood. In the book So Much Things to Say, The Oral History of Bob Marley, a relative of the Marleys explained Norval paid little in way of child support, and his mental stability was questionable at best. Esther Anderson, who was once Marley's girlfriend, confirmed that Marley's father was, for all intents and purposes, a non-presence in his childhood. As she told BBC News, the guy didn't exist. There was a photograph of him on a horse, a white man on a horse. Sadly, as his oral history depicts, Bob grew up feeling unaccepted by either race due to his mixed parentage. He was considered white by his black peers, and white people considered him to be black. At school, he was taunted by classmates who derided him as yellow or the German boy. According to the HuffPost, Marley even attempted to reach out to his father's family in his teens, but was swiftly rejected. In 9 Mile, Bob Marley and his mother shared a tiny ramshackle dwelling made from scrap wood and corrugated metal. As Bunny Wailer, his bandmate in the Wailers, explained for the oral history of Bob Marley, Marley's childhood was a struggle for survival. He reflected, his most serious endeavor was just to eat and drink. There were many nights of cold ground for his bed and rock stone for his pillow. Countless nights. When Marley was 12, he and his mother moved to Trenchtown, the notorious slum within Jamaica's capital city of Kingston. Growing up in those rough streets, Marley was given the nickname Tough Gong. The moniker, which Marley would later use as the name of his recording studio, was inspired by the Rastafarian religion that he would ultimately embrace. The name was reportedly bestowed on Marley by those who recognized the future icon was destined for a unique journey in life. The rural poverty of 9 Mile was very different from the urban form he encountered in the densely populated slum. Marley himself summed up his experience in the song Trenchtown.
As a young man, surviving was easy. The only thing you'd have to really look out for was the police,
By 1976, Bob Marley had exploded onto the international music scene after Eric Clapton's hit cover of I Shot the Sheriff pushed both him and reggae music into the mainstream. In December of that year, Marley was back home in Kingston preparing to headline the Smile Jamaica concert, a reggae show put on with the intention of establishing national unity in a starkly divided Jamaica during a time of deep political turmoil. Multiple political parties had approached Marley about giving them his support, and he declined both in order to remain a neutral outsider in the conflict. Sadly, this decision took a near-fatal turn on December 3rd when a vehicle came to a stop outside the home that Marley shared with wife Rita and their children. Several armed gunmen poured out and stormed the property on a mission to assassinate Marley. They entered Marley's home, guns blazing. A bullet grazed his chest and another lodged in his arm. His wife Rita was shot in the head, but survived. The would-be assassins were never apprehended, but various theories emerged over the years. One theory posited that the CIA was responsible in an alleged attempt to destabilize the country after Jamaican leader Michael Manley visited Cuba to meet with communist dictator Fidel Castro.
That's one thing for sure, that they was trying to stop that concert from happening.
Despite his wounds, Marley soldiered on and played his set at Smile Jamaica. In an undated interview posted to YouTube by Rastafari Coalition, Marley confirmed that the people who attacked him were never brought to justice. The day after his Smile Jamaica performance, Marley fled to London. He'd spend the next 3 years in a self-imposed form of exile there due to his belief that his life was in danger if he remained in Jamaica. He lived in several parts of the city, initially in Chelsea, but also in Bloomsbury and then Notting Hill. While Marley no doubt missed the tropical warmth of his homeland while living in damp and rainy London, that period was also an intensely creative one for him. This was largely due to the fact that the Wailers joined him in London, where they recorded their blockbuster Exodus album. London was also where a couple of Marley's 11 children were conceived. One of these resulted from his affair with Cindy Breakspear, the Jamaican pageant queen crowned Miss World in 1976. Another alleged affair was with Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour, who allegedly vanished for a week with Marley while on an assignment for Harper's Bazaar. However, Wintour has denied the claim when asked about it on The Late Late Show with James Corden. Bob Marley's association with marijuana has been well documented. Marley didn't consider weed to be a drug, but a holy sacrament within the Rastafarian religion, and was reported to smoke a pound of it each week. According to the Daily Mail, the singer once said, "When you smoke herb reveal yourself to you. All the wickedness you do, the herb reveal itself to yourself, your conscience, show up yourself clear, because herb make you meditate. It's only a natural thing, and it grow like a tree."
Does it matter to you that it's still against the law here in Jamaica?
Every lie is illegal.
While in London, Marley's prodigious consumption of herb did not jibe with the British authorities' stance on marijuana. That was apparent in March 1977, when Marley and the Wailers bass player Aston "Family Man" Barrett were arrested and charged with possession of what was reportedly a small amount of the drug. Marley was convicted, but managed to avoid jail time by paying a fine. According to the Northern Standard, evidence has subsequently emerged that Marley lied about where he was living when he was arrested, giving cops a fake address so they wouldn't search the place where he was actually staying. Either way, London authorities didn't appear to hold a grudge about Marley's weed bust when the actual home where he lived received one of the city's iconic blue heritage plaques in 2019 to commemorate the fact that Marley had slept and presumably smoked there. The sense of isolation that Bob Marley felt as a biracial child wasn't something that he overcame, but a factor that continued to shape him throughout his life, even in his adult years. At least, that's the contention of filmmaker Kevin MacDonald, director of the 2012 biographical documentary Marley. As MacDonald told The Guardian, Marley didn't like to discuss the fact that his father was white and hadn't fully reconciled that half of his heritage with the image of himself that he'd built up. Reflecting on a conversation he had with Marley's son, Ziggy, MacDonald recalled, he said of his father, "I think Bob always regretted that he wasn't black. I wouldn't put it in those bald terms, but I think that was a key to his psychology and to the music. He was always the outsider, and he found a way in his life and music to redeem that fact." According to MacDonald, being shunned by his father proved to be something of a double-edged sword. While it devastated Marley emotionally, it also lit a fire that fueled him on his journey to superstardom. As he observed to jam bands, he in fact proved to the white family, "I can succeed. You're going to be forgotten, but I'm going to do something." I think that his father's rejection was part of the reason he was so ambitious. In 1977, Bob Marley noticed a dark spot under his toenail. He initially believed it was an injury he sustained while playing soccer in Paris when the steel spike on a soccer cleat punctured his toe. Marley ignored it. However, the spot didn't go away and over time became a lesion. When Marley eventually visited a doctor, the physician immediately ordered a biopsy. The results led Marley to be diagnosed with acral melanoma, a rare and highly aggressive form of skin cancer. Acral melanoma typically begins to form on hairless skin, under a fingernail or toenail, but can also form on the soles of feet or the palms of one's hands. Because of the speed at which acral melanoma spreads, it must be treated quickly and aggressively. When Bob Marley received his diagnosis, the doctor recommended amputating his toe in order to prevent the cancer from spreading. According to NME, Marley balked at that and refused amputation. One key reason for that had to do with his religious beliefs, as Rastafarianism considers removing any part of the body to be sinful. In addition, Marley felt that the removal of his toe would cause him to lose his balance, hampering his ability to dance on stage while performing and potentially damaging his career. Instead, he underwent excisional surgery to have the bed of the toe's nail removed, along with the cancerous tissue and additional tissue surrounding the area. He then received a skin graft from his thigh to replace the tissue that had been removed. After the surgery, he went on with his life as normal, unaware greater health struggles were on the horizon. In the months following his cancer diagnosis and the surgical procedure to address it, Bob Marley embarked on a U.S. tour. As Relics reports, he was in New York City when he decided to go for a jog in Central Park. While running, Marley collapsed as a sharp pain hit his neck. After his friend helped him back to the hotel, Marley rested and eventually recovered a few hours later. The next day, Marley was examined by a neurologist who had devastating news to share. The cancer in his toe had rapidly spread throughout his body. The doctor told Marley that he now had a brain tumor and an estimated 2 weeks to live.
He could not be treated, and he could not be helped.
Despite the heartbreaking news, Marley went on to Pittsburgh, where he delivered a fiery and now historic show. It would be his final concert ever. From there, Marley went to Germany to seek a cure via alternative medicine. He received treatment at a clinic situated in the Bavarian Alps, run by controversial physician Dr. Josef Issels, who had developed a treatment protocol for cancer that focused on using the body's immune system to attack cancer cells with ultraviolet blood irradiation. According to Luxury London, there was cause for optimism at first, and Marley's condition seemingly stabilized over the 8 months he spent receiving treatment. Sadly, Marley's health began deteriorating again, and realizing the end was near, he embarked on one final journey to return to Jamaica, planning to draw his final breath in the land of his birth. Sadly, Marley never reached Jamaica. While flying to Kingston, Marley became deathly sick, and the plane landed in Miami instead. The singer was rushed to Cedars of Lebanon Hospital, where he said goodbye to his children and ultimately died at the age of 36.
What he's been through and what he has done and the impact he has had, it is a great human story and a story that we all can adore.
He left behind numerous children and a musical legacy that endures to this day. However, he did not leave a will, and as a result, it was left up to his various family members to sort out his estate. Perhaps unsurprisingly, this ultimately resulted in a chaotic mishmash of infighting and legal challenges. As the Washington Post pointed out, the real benefactors of all the legal wrangling over Marley's estate were the lawyers, who had reportedly received upwards of $4 million in fees while trying to sort out the mess. Then again, one of Marley's closest friends felt that not making a will may have been deliberate, suggesting the decision may have been his way of testing the character of those he left behind. In the 2012 documentary Marley, Neville Garrick, who designed several of Marley's album covers, said that the fight over Marley's estate revealed the true colors of all those he left behind.
Who really did love him, who fighting over the money. Yeah, man, him does it, but that's how he is. Bob left it open.